Good evening, everyone. My name is Bezina Mosiashvili, your host for the evening. Today, for a rapid fire story, we will be talking about the tariffs brought on by Trump in Canada. Edmonton and Alberta pace to break multiple rainfall and tornado records. Teen arrested in shooting at Seattle Food Festival that killed 3. Almost 4,000 people have evacuated from a tourist sites near Bordeaux as wildfires rage in France and Spain. Magnitude 7.5 earthquake in Japan, and a toll rises. 2 women found lifeless in a shopping center. European Commission, TikTok's protection for minors are inadequate. And finally, for our deep hive report of the day, why did a $154 billion CEO just endorse stripping most Americans of voting rights and taking us back to the 19th century? That will be our hive report for today, as we take a look at Shopify CEO appears to endorse giving more votes to wealthy Canadians and wealthy Americans. Then we will jump into Hives Gone Wild and see what the internet has got for us this week. And finally, for our B story of the day, French minister quits and then unquits over farm bill dispute. All right, before we do a dive into the rapid fire swarm story, let's take a look at the bees and see what they're going on. Let's give them a little bit of food here. All right. As you can see, they're really hungry here. They're really asking for some food. They're all over this place, and these bees are ready to be extracted. You know, it is 28 degrees in Calgary. We have about 45% humidity, and these bees are ready to have their honey extracted. As you can see, there was some debris over there that just got moved over by the liquid that's getting dispensed. It's very hard to see, but there's a liquid that gets dispensed, and that's why the bees are kind of moving away right now. Now you can kind of see it a little bit better, but yes, comment, feed the bees for dispensing food. All right, for our main story of the day, whatever it takes. New Brunswick Premier opening to use energy as leverage amid tariffs. And we will just take a look at this video.
Not ruling out using energy as leverage in efforts to end U.S. tariffs hurting business in the province. But Susan Holt says she would rather do, quote, whatever it takes to land a deal in trade. CBC's Anna Mandan reports.
1 week after the U.S. announced sweeping 50% tariffs on Canadian goods, New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt says she's ready to do whatever's needed to help Canada make a deal and remove the tariffs.
We're really supportive of whatever efforts Canada needs to take to get to the kind of free and fair trade that we used to have with the United States.
And that includes potentially using the province's energy exports to New England.
All right. So there you have it. Canada is threatened to cut off energy exports to New England in negotiations. That has been your rapid fire story. Edmonton and Alberta pace to break multiple rainfall tornado records. What's going on in Edmonton and other areas of the province? It really does seem like Edmonton is kind of in a zone we're seeing most active weather in recent weeks. I've been calling in Edmonton storm train on social media. Here we have heavy rainfall causing flooding on 98th Avenue near Mud Art Conservatory. This is becoming a summer to remember in Edmonton with what feels like relentless rain and weekly storms, while the city and province are the cusp of breaking more extreme weather records. 1 month after setting new record for July rainfall, 271 millimeters, to reach second time all time. July is closing in surpassing the last month's rainfall with 260 millimeters. and could potentially break the all-time record of 282 that fell in July of 1901. Interesting, that is. On to our next rapid-fire story. Teen arrested in a shooting at Seattle in food festival that killed 3. Police say there were at least 3 suspects involved in a food festival shooting near Seattle Space Needle over the weekend, and one of them was among those killed in the violence. In a document filed in juvenile court in Seattle, where a 15-year-old arrested in one of the cases was making an initial appearance on Monday, police said they believe there were at least 3 shooters, a 15-year-old, an acquaintance who died at the scene, and at least one other unknown suspect. Based on the evidence at the scene, investigators believe the 15-year-old and one of the deceased engaged in gunfight with at least one unknown suspect. On to our next rapid-fire story. Almost 4,000 people evacuated from tourist sites near Bordeaux as wildfires rage in France and Spain. Return of winds and extreme heat threatens firefighter attempts to bring blazes under control. Nearly 4,000 people have been evacuated from tourist sites on France's Atlantic coast as the return of winds and extreme heat jeopardizes firefighters' battles to contain wildfires raging in France and Spain. The precautionary evacuation order in France, and which covers campsites, holiday villages, and other tourist accommodations around the resort of La Couée to the west of Bordeaux, exacerbated a wildfire emergency, described the French President Emmanuel Macron as the toughest situation the country had dealt with since the Second World War. Wow. And here we have a map of the wildfire, and as they are considering it as an attack. And here we have in Spain, as an EU spokesperson, Ana Casia Itokina said, number of firefighting planes and helicopters from member countries have been deployed to France and Spain. She said it was important to clarify no country can maintain alone all the resources that are needed to tackle every possible natural disaster or crisis. As people might remember, we read an article about arsonist castes, so maybe they're also involved. On to our next story. Magnitude 7.1 earthquake in Japan. The toll rises. 2 women found lifeless in a shopping center. In Kushi, emergency services are continuing their search after a 7.1 magnitude earthquake, which left at least 3 dead and many injured. The death toll from the earthquake that struck the island in the southwest of Japan on Tuesday rose to 3, in addition to 1 person dying in a house collapse. 2 women were found lifeless in a shopping center. On Wednesday, broadcaster NHK citing local officials reported the 2 hospitals reported treating at least 50 injured. The Japanese army mobilized 300,600 people to rescue operations that dispatched 20 planes to assess the damage. And for our final rapid fire story of the day, the European Commission says TikTok's protection for minors are inadequate. The European Commission on Friday said TikTok its preliminary findings and concluding that the platform's measures for minors' accounts do not comply with the standards of the Digital Service Act, DSA. On TikTok's, minors can set their accounts to public. This means any users, including those without TikTok account, can view content from minors. This setting allows content created by older minors aged 16-17 to be displayed as a recommendation or feed of all other TikTok users. This could lead to unwanted contact and the risk of cyberbullying, giving strangers a window into the child's life. Interesting. The Digital Service Act requires platforms to make protective measures for minors, an integral part of the service take responsibility that if they fail to do so. High-level protection should be optional feature, but default standard. This is our responsibility and to our current and future children of Europe, she said. The Commission's preliminary findings are part of a formal proceedings initiated on February 19, 2024 to investigate whether TikTok is in compliance with the Digital Service Act. And finally, for our Hive report of the day, we're going to take a quick report. But why did a $154 billion CEO just endorse a stripping most Americans of voting rights and taking us back to the 19th century? We will be right back with a quick bee cam break. All right, people, let's see what the bees are doing. As you can see, they've decided to kind of all huddle around on this left side. Let's give them a little bit of more food. They're all flapping their wings. Give them a little more food, and so they're all trying to go on this side over here. You know, then just over here. Incredible. All right, let's jump back to our main story Hive report of the day. Shopify CEO Tobias Lütke, whose company commands a market capitalization near $154 billion, told his social media followers this week that the tax-tiered voting system that would once strip voting rights from anyone who pays no income tax would be a good system. The two-word endorsement dropped into a viral thread has reignited a debate whether wealthy and poor and wealthy power and democracy that most Americans thought was settled more than a century ago. The proposal would invert the founding American principle of no taxation without representation into something closer to no representation without taxation, specifically high taxation. Reactions online split sharply. Some framed it as provocative and thought experiment about aligning fiscal responsibility with political voice, while others called it a naked attempt to legitimize plutocracy by giving billionaires and multimillionaires a formal multiplied vote over the laws that govern everyone else. But it also revealed that America is grappling with political economy debate. As a frozen housing market and an entrenched wealthy baby boomer demographic have many, not just like Lütke, arguing something big needs to change. How the thread started. The exchange began with a provocation from Lütke. Pension recipients should have their financial futures locked and guaranteed, but in return would be reclassified as dependents and lose the right to vote, the same way minors can't vote. And a reply from Eric Thorne, who claimed to be a retired banking executive as well as an armchair economist and a policy wonk, self-proclaimed, proposed a sliding scale: 0 votes for anyone who pays no income tax, 1 vote for those earning $1 to $100,000, 2 votes for $100,000 to $200,000, and scaling up that pattern to a hard cap of 5 votes for anyone earning $500,000 or more. The pitch was framed as fairness, reward representation for those who foot the bill through taxation. That was a good system that Lütke endorsed. To be clear, under this proposed system, the disenfranchised bloc would be enormous. It would encompass all retirees living on Social Security, pension income, students and caregivers, disabled Americans, and millions of low-wage workers who owe no net federal income tax after deductions and credits. Meanwhile, a small population of high earners would receive up to 5 votes each, a five-fold multiplier on political power concentrated in the hands of people already holding a disproportionate economic power. This is not a new idea. It's an old, discredited one. Tying the right to vote to wealth and tax contribution has a name: census suffrage, or property qualified voting. In fact, it was the dominant system for the majority of early modern history. Across much of the 19th century of Europe and as part of the early United States, only property owners or taxpayers above a certain threshold could cast a ballot. The earliest democracies in history and in ancient Greece and ancient Rome likewise limited voting to property owners. The dawning of 20th century, though, coincided with several universal suffrage movements that spent decades dismantling those systems precisely because they entrenched the political power of the early wealthy and locked out workers, women, and minorities from any say in laws governing them. Jessica Lautz, the deputy chief economist of National Associated Realtors, told Fortune recently that housing markets showed signs of returning to early 19th century status quo, but this surely was not what she meant. Perhaps ironically, Lütke's tweet store began as the response to Jordan Grimes' bemoaning the current crisis conditions in the housing market. The San Francisco Chronicle's Laura Waxman had reported a classy "not in my backyard" activism as hundreds of San Francisco Marina residents swamped the town hall to protest what for them was uncomfortably a tall 22 and an 18-story project at a low-slug neighborhood's waterfront. The excessive influence of old homeowners has been dubbed as an oligarchy by Yale professor Semenyo Moine, who advocated in his recent book Genirotocracy in America for something like the reverse for Lütke's policy, extending the voting age to ever younger population to counterbalance the tyranny of not in my backyard boomers. A story from the CBC: the Shopify CEO appears to endorse giving more votes to wealthy Canadians. The billionaire CEO of one of Canada's largest companies has come under fire for seeming to endorse the idea of stripping votes rights from some people and giving votes to ultra-wealthy. On Saturday, Shopify CEO Tobias Lütke replied to an ex from a former TD executive, Eric Storm, who suggested an electoral system of weighted and voted proportional to the amount of income tax you pay, from 0 votes for people who don't pay income tax to 5 votes for anyone paying $500,000 or more. Here we have Toby Lütke saying, "New Deal. When you get your pension deal, it's locked in and guaranteed, but now you're dependent, and that means no voting, just like dependents under age. Enjoy that deal. Let the people with the stake in the future decide." And then Eric Thorne says, "Interesting. What about it voted proportional to the level of income tax you pay? No income tax is 0 vote, 1 to 100,000 to 100 blah blah blah." And then we have Andrew Leach, your CEO of Canada's largest companies. "Old or poor people should not get to vote. What the hell? Ha ha ha. Turning back the clock, the voting system Thorne and Lütke endorse is not unheard of in Canada, but would turn the clock the quiet ways." Story by Kevin Mainman, a senior writer for the CBC. All right, people, comment down below what you think of the Hive Report of the day. But in my opinion, the whole point of the vote to buy land, only landowners could vote, was because that was the way that they could determine who was actually in the area and valid to vote. Now that we do have technology that we can determine who actually lives in the area, and you necessarily don't have to be a landowner or a homeowner, I mean, we don't have to limit ourselves to um, landowners or whatever. But I believe the voting should be, I mean, we already have a low voter turnout rate anyways. I think what they need to do is making voting more easier. Like for example, I can do my banking on my phone securely and positively, thinking that nothing can happen. I can use my Face ID to log in. We need to do something like that for voting. On my phone, on voting day, I need to get options and click the option, and that's it. That's it. Use the Face ID to verify me, and everything will. We need higher voter turnout rate, not lower. So I am not in favor of this idea. Well, this would we have a problem with voting, so he's trying to fix it, but they need to put the energy towards allowing more people to vote, not reducing people to vote. Anyways, let's check on the bees and let's see what the bees are doing. All right, as you can see, they're really favoring that one other side for some odd reason. All right. Now, for Hives Gone Wild, for your first story of the day, we have man's meta glasses captured heated laundromat argument. Let's watch it here.
Don't touch my machine. No, I didn't mean to. I asked, can you please not wipe this down while my clothes is in here? Why you gotta do this every time I'm here? Every time I'm here, you always wiping my machines down. Every time I'm here. Like, can you just wait until my stuff finished before you start doing that, please? Because last time my dry cleaner, you sprayed that stuff on my dry cleaner clothes. You did, man. You did. Yes, and they had to send it. I'm not. Yeah, the owner told me. They cook, yo. Okay, man. It's just every time I'm here, you always doing this stuff with this spray. Like you sprayed my $1,000 worth of dry cleaning with that same stuff. Like
I've never taken your dry cleaning yet.
Ma'am, you know my clothes. I've been here for years. You do that on purpose. Like, can you stop doing stuff to antagonize me, please? Like, I would appreciate that. Like, you don't have to do that stuff while operating machines is operating. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, you that miserable? Like, my clothes is expensive. I don't want that shit on my clothes. The fuck? I'd rather do 3-4 machines at one time than do one load after one load after one load. What the hell? Every time I come here, you always doing this shit. Like, the fuck? You that petty? Man, all right, man, you knew. So you don't understand. I've been coming here for 5-6+ years, and this lady always giving me the problem.
So pretty much there's some sort of argument happening with the laundromat. So let's get him to explain it.
For 5-6+ years, and this lady always giving me a problem every time I come here. Why do she gotta spray those? I just asked her, don't spray my shit. That's all I asked her. Just mind your business. Just mind your business. Every time I come here, you're always doing this stuff, man. Ma'am, I apologize. But she do this every single time. That's why she cursed you out last time.
I mean, why can't you wipe it down? I don't get it.
This is your career? You work at a laundromat for a career. Like, come on.
Now she's
like, this is your career.
The saxophone. Why does he need to bring up his career? I don't get it.
No, I didn't mean to.
I mean, this is her job, is to wipe out the thing. And now he's getting trespassed. He sees her no trespass. Like, so her job is to wipe.
You that petty? Man, all right, man, you knew.
So I don't get it.
Yes, and they had to send it. I'm not. Yeah, the owner told me. Yo. Okay, man. It's just every time I'm here, you always doing this stuff with this spray. Like you sprayed my $1,000 worth of dry cleaning with that same stuff. Like
I've never taken your dry cleaning yet.
Ma'am, you know my clothes. I've been here for years. You do that on purpose. Like, can you stop doing stuff to antagonize me, please? Like, I would appreciate that. Like, you don't have to do that stuff while operating machines is operating. Like, you don't have to do that.
I mean,
Like,
they're always operating. When is she not going to do it?
Like, my clothes is expensive. I don't want that shit on my clothes. The fuck? I'd rather do 3-4 machines at one time than do one load after one load after one load. What the hell? Every time I come here, you always...
Okay, you know he doesn't have a laundry machine at home by making that excuse. What do you mean you don't want to do it one load after one load after one load? What, like you don't have...
My clothes is expensive. I don't want that shit on my clothes.
So you'd rather take your expensive clothes to a public laundromat than to do it at home?
The fuck? I'd rather do 3-4 machines at one time than do one load after one load after one load.
Bro, that's cat. That's hella cat. You don't got a laundry machine? Why are you at this thing? I bet the amount of time that it takes you to get all your clothes, why do you even have 4 loads of laundry to do? I don't get that. You should be doing your laundry at the end of the week or like end of the other week. That should be one load of laundry. This is insane, man. You do your laundry at the end of the week. The max I've ever had is like 2 loads of laundry. I've never had 3 or 4 loads of what the hell?
My clothes is expensive. I don't want that shit on my clothes. The fuck? I'd rather do 3-4 machines at one time than do one load after
3-4 machines. His 4 loads, pretty much. Damn. I mean, maybe they're small loads. Why not pack that shit? I don't know. Maybe he's doing. He did say they're expensive clothes, so maybe he's doing the very delicate amounts. So I don't know. Whatever. All right. Next story. Man arrested after drunken pontoon crash that decapitated women.
Security footage from a home along the Fox River shows the pontoon allegedly driven by Richard Stevenson Saturday afternoon. The family who shared this video says their cameras captured the pontoon going south on the river, then an hour and 45 minutes later going north. And about a minute after that, they say they heard the collision. Another video shows the vantage point from a man as his daughter plays on the swing. The pontoon, again, seen zipping by at 12:40 p.m., nearly 2 hours before the crash. The state's attorney says the pontoon, driven by Stevenson and entering a no-wake zone, hit the back of a green Crown Line boat, and a woman in the passenger seat was driven over and decapitated. Her husband was taken to the hospital. Prosecutors say the pontoon wrecked onto the bank, where a witness on Riverside Drive found Stevenson, who was ultimately taken to the hospital where his blood was drawn, registering a .20 BAC, 2.5 times the legal limit.
2.5.
The state's attorney says two other people were on Stevenson's boat, and though both left the scene Saturday, they were interviewed by police. Both reported that Stevenson had taken multiple shots of Fireball whiskey Saturday, one of them admitting that Stevenson was driving 80 miles per hour prior to the collision. The state's attorney laying out Stevenson's lengthy history of traffic violations, specifically a period between 1997 and 2005 that included 3 DUI arrests, 4 separate misdemeanor speeding offenses, 3 reckless driving offenses, and fleeing and eluding police. Prosecutors also highlighting a 2023 misdemeanor speeding, driving 26 to 34 miles per hour over the speed limit. All of these violations coming on the road. The judge deciding to detain Stevenson as the legal process plays out. He's due back in court next Wednesday, August 5th.
Wow. There you have it, folks. It's been your Hive Gone Wild. Man, we'll just leave it as that. We'll just move on to the next one. Andrew Tate's lawyer says the Tate brothers are being targeted by inmates in jail.
Think about the allegations. The allegations that they've been accused of are some of the worst allegations in the world. And in particular, those types of allegations, SA allegations, sexual assault, and anytime you involve a child, let me tell you right now, that doesn't play well for anyone politically in jail. So it's got nothing to do with their ability to defend themselves or this or that. It's got to do with the fact that they put a target on their back for them to get stabbed, jumped, murdered, whatever it is in jail, because that is how jail politics and that is how jail gangs and how the jail economy works. There's a pecking order in jail. It's very real. And when you come in with those allegations, there's no excuses. It's your paperwork says this, therefore, you're up for murder. You're fair game. You're fair game. And every time the public says, Andrew and Tristan are just like Epstein, well, guess what? The public is greenlighting for them to get murdered in jail. These allegations against them are the worst for a multitude of reasons. And it's one of the reasons why they're in solitary. We hope to get them out. Look, the people over here in the system, the guards at the jail, they've been great. They've been fair to us. I've been in jails and places all around the world, and we've been treated honorably here. They have to carry out their mission. They have to carry out their instructions, their orders, their duty. But that doesn't take away from the fact that every time somebody walks by their cell, they get called something, a word that starts with a P that's more appropriate to Epstein and not appropriate to them. And because of that, they have a target on their back that's very, very real. People could say, I'm up here and I am pontificating about what ifs and maybes, or I'm exaggerating, or I'm being hyperbolic. I am not. If one of them gets stabbed or beaten half to death tomorrow, it will be because this is the way it went down, and it's wrong.
Wow. There you have it, folks. Andrew Tate, lawyer, comes out, very outspoken. All right, and now we have some latest propaganda from Iran, and we will watch it here. So it's Donald Trump in the White House, and some music.
You thought you would win.
AI music.
The mess that your country is in. Look at it. Your general's crying, your plan was a bust. The promises made are now turning to dust. Marco Rubio was spitting these grilled on the floor. They asked for the billions you wasted on war. You laugh from day one, you keep capping a lot. But look at the straight, yeah, we got it on live. Like, damn, begging for mercy, you're begging for peace. While telling your media Iran wants peace. You sure? You're losing the straight, you're losing the state. And now the whole public is drowning in hate. You told, stop talking about Epstein. Now listen to the crowd.
You know, like, this Epstein thing, like, pisses me off so much. I don't know. It's so annoying.
Don't stop talking about You lied about Iran, said Navy is gone. You promised regime change from darkness to dawn. You're dreaming, your beautiful B2s were flying so high, still shaking inside. You're about to cry. You stood on the stage, looking completely detached, saying, I don't care about voters, it's cash. Did he really say that? Yeah, he did. You care about ballrooms, luxury suites while American families starve on the streets. Inflation is peaking, the economy's dead, but you worry about Israel instead. The corruption is deep, AI packs in the state. Every politician's got a price on their plate. You're all just puppets dancing for funds while Iran is standing and holding the guns. You're losing the straight, you're losing the state. And now the whole public is drowning in hate. You told, stop talking about Epstein. Now listen to the crowd.
What is this, like, AI Lego generation?
Don't stop talking
Yeah,
about
I think this is the Iranian general.
You called yourself a king, but you're just a DJ queen. The biggest disaster the White House has seen. Your empire is done.
Oh, this is so bad. Like, it's just like so stupid. Like, oh my god.
The war is lost. You go fix your ball.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is your most recent propaganda from Iran. Now we have Zohran Mamdani announced that he will open in 5 city-run tax-funded grocery stores.
Here's how it will work. Once a month, our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks. The savings will last for the entire month. That means no weekly fluctuations nor sticker shock at the checkout line.
All right. Well, where's the full video? We need to look at this full video here. We need to take a look at the full video, folks.
We are here in Hunts Point, through which so much of the food that nourishes New Yorkers travels before it arrives on a restaurant plate or lands
The hell?
in a grocery store.
No, this is...
And make it easier for New Yorkers to put food on the table. When government understands its purpose as serving the very working people that it has left behind time and again, it can make a difference in the most pressing struggles facing our city today. It's not just that government can help, it's that government must help, and our government will help. And I want to thank organized labor for being a part of this announcement, because as we have spoken...
This is fucking crazy. This is crazy, people.
Today, I am proud to announce a collection of essential staples that will be predictably 30% cheaper at all 5 of our city-run grocery stores.
New York City with Zohran Mamdani. Incredible that Zohran is doing this, and also
that for matters even nor for the...
So that is most of the announcement right there, I figured.
All right, well, this guy's useless. Let's see. New York face backlash. I mean, this is some old clip. But there you have it, folks. Call me Mamdani. All right, now we have a video from Andrew Tate.
Say what you mean. You say what you mean it. You message one other guy. That's what again when we're together.
Supposedly, when Andrew is 25, he beats someone. A 14, 15-year-old girl or something.
So I understand.
This is the pedophile allegations that he's getting.
The camera. Show one how pretty you are. Show the camera your tattoo. What does it say?
Tate.
Why does it say Tate?
Like a woman's whore.
You are my whore.
Yes.
Get my lipstick. She's gonna kiss my hand. Why's your ass got a bruise on it?
Because my daddy hits me.
He hits you?
Yes.
Why would he hit you?
Because mommy's whore and he does as well.
Just go don't tell the camera that I hit you and you don't do as I say. Don't say it. English, proper English, no Slovak.
It sounds like a skit. It's supposedly the girl in the video. 14, 15.
I said, when I said, tell the camera, I beat you when you don't do as I say. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say the word listen? Did I say the word listen? I didn't say the word listen. Did I say listen? Did I say listen? No. Look at the camera. Did I say listen? Did I say listen to you? Did I say it?
This doesn't really look like a skit.
Look at the camera. This is what happens if you don't listen. Look at the camera. Why are you getting hit? Why are you getting beaten?
But why? It seems like this is crazy.
Did Here's our say.
What an idiot for
Well, you know that woman? Truth is why. Why? Being who law? With law?
You have
No, because you're a jerk. Show me the virgin. 1, 2,
This
3.
is crazy. I don't understand why.
Baby.
Why would he?
Oh, poor thing. I have an idea. Some ideas?
I mean, it's clearly his voice.
Don't have ideas. That's right. Walk the door, you knew I was going to beat the out of you. If you behaved, I wouldn't have to hit you, would I? You don't. Get out. You can't stay in there forever.
This is insane. So that's where the allegations of the come from, where this lawyer.
Think about the allegations. The allegations that they've been accused of are some of the worst allegations in the world.
Yeah.
And in particular, those types of allegations, SA allegations,
Sexual assault, pedophilia. There you have it, folks. We got a bunch of time here. Let's take a look at another Hives Gone Wild video. Okay, this is Ford supposedly shut this guy's Bronco off.
Is it because I didn't make my payment on my Ford Bronco? Ford shut down my car because the payment is late? Dang, that's rough. That's like a scam, right? So my brand new Bronco with 3,000 miles on it is broke down in the middle. I don't think Ford realizes how rough it is out here. Doing my best. I mean, I could be killed. I'm in like 60-mile-an-hour traffic here. My truck broken. I could be killed.
It's wild. They just turned it off.
Expressway. So, hey, look, divine providence. You gotta listen because sometimes when God speaks, it's not all what you want it to be. You know what I mean? It's probably saved me from a really bad accident. But anyway, Ford Bronco, number 1.
Didn't make his payments or something. He said 3,000 miles on it. Just killed the engine while he's 60 miles in traffic. Wow, that's insane. That could have caused an accident. He said he's missed an accident, but he could have caused one. LOL, Katie's Perry's and extras wicked sideways. This is an entrance from Katy Perry. Not going as planned. Whoa, check it out. That's insane. That would be pretty cool to be there. And Carrie Bader's on top of you. That's wild. I think that went pretty successful. So woman resists New York. Oh, that song is copyrighted. We can't listen to that. Oh my God. A mobile home being transported on a semi crashes into a car on the in Villa Rica, Georgia, crushing the car. Incredible. This is insane. So it looks like they're trying to get the person out. They're using a chainsaw. Looks like someone's still stuck in there. Holy moly. A woman in Oklahoma was murdered over TikTok she made. Preparing for a Netflix drop about my soon-to-be ex-husband, who I just found out to be woman who did a Netflix documentary trend on TikTok out her husband as a pedo killed by her husband. 41-year-old Sarah Gilson was found deceased by police in her home days earlier. Gilson shared a video which has 18 million views on TikTok accusing her husband of being a pedo. Jeremy Sean Duffy was accused of breaking into her home, shooting her, and taking her his own life. Wow. Duffy, who was a youth basketball coach, was accused by a mom of kissing and touching her 15-year-old daughter. He also alleged invited the girl to his hotel room during a tournament trip. Wow. So here we have another Andrew Tate.
So the Tate situation is getting more interesting. I just got out of a court hearing, and they are still in detention right here. There is a press conference going on, and here is the latest. The latest is that the prosecution is arguing that they should be detained, and that it actually should continue the way it is, and they should be in the, solitary confinement unit, and 23 hours a day with criminals, murderers, and people who are supposedly a danger to the public. However, when the defense, and there are lawyers right here, and they're saying, could you please provide us with any proof, anything that the UK has provided? The defense is like, oh, we don't know, we don't have a full package, it might take 60 days for us to receive any kind of information and full package, and then the defense is going to receive it. So how they're even supposed to argue against their solitary confinement and detention, how they can go into a detention hearing, which is now scheduled for the 13th of August, without even the ability to see who's the accuser, what is the fucking proof? None of it. Today they're like, oh, I don't know, I witnessed it with my own eyes. They said, oh, we don't, maybe within 60 days. That's it. This is all you need to know, directly from my end.
Well, there you have it, folks. So 3 stabbed by Islamist person, including this person when did that. Benjamin Netanyahu landed with no red carpet. Rosie O'Donnell claims President Trump abused her for 20 years.
I have PTSD from all the abuse that he gave me for 20 years. People say, well, you gave it right back. Yeah, I did, because if I, a person of privilege and power in this country, can't give it right back to him, what chances do the Epstein survivors have? What chance does any immigrant who's been put in a concentration camp have? We have to use our voice, our free speech, while we still have remnants of it in the United States. Now they're going and arresting people who protest, peacefully assemble, as is our right. Killing.
Renee Good and Alex Petty. But there's a difference between going toe-to-toe with him, giving it right back before he was president.
Right.
Which you did for many years. Now, with him as president, I've experienced this. I know what it's like for Donald Trump to tweet against you.
Yes.
I mean, I've had crazy sent to my house.
Yes.
I have had people berate me at airports and supermarkets and follow me. And, I'm living my life in a different way than I did before. So I don't know that people understand what happens. It's like the gates of hell open up and every little demon walks through it to attack you when this guy says, I'm going after Rosie O'Donnell or Bruce Springsteen or, you know, I don't know,
Taylor Swift or Meryl Streep.
Wow. Big surprise. The popular guy says, I'm bad, and then his fans go after me. A big surprise. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. I'm crying. Shut up. Shut up. This is bullshit. You guys know his popularity. You know how popular he was. He won the presidency twice. And this is the bullshit you're saying. Of course, this is going to happen. So, whatever. Holy shit. That's pretty heavy.
Real talk, man. I said leave it. Real talk, man. I said leave it. I said leave it. Stop playing with me, man. I said leave it. Stop playing with me like this. I said leave it.
What do you got? Is that a pipe?
I said leave it.
Guy's got like some sort of lead pipe.
I said leave it.
It sounded heavy.
I said leave it.
You hear that? It sounded very heavy. Try to throw it at him.
I said leave it. I said leave it.
What the hell happened there?
I said leave it. I said leave it. I said leave it. I said leave it.
He like stopped it last minute or something. Why didn't that hit the guy?
I said leave it. I said leave it.
That's like look at that. It's just like he just deflected off of him.
I said leave it. I said
oh, look at that. What the hell was that?
I said leave it. I said leave it.
It just deflected off of him. That's insane. He missed? Oh no, he missed. He thought, okay, he missed and hit the ground. Okay, that's what happened. Right there. He still had it in his hand. Boom.
I said leave it. Real talk, man. I said leave it. Real talk, man. I said
real talk.
I said leave it. Stop playing with me, man. I said leave it. Stop playing with me like this. I said leave it. Real talk, man. I said leave it. Stop playing with me, man. I said it right over. I said leave it. I said leave it. Stop playing with me. I said leave it. I said leave it. I said leave it. Stop playing with me, bro.
All right. Let's see what happens in the end. Does he get away?
I've been reading. I said,
that's hilarious. He went. He's like, wait. And then he went. Why did this guy not go? He went to got his weapon. He waited. Damn, he was ready. He was ready. Grandpa was ready. Uncle was ready, dude. Well, there you have it, folks. That's been your Hives Gone Wild for today. Let's move on to the B story of today. French minister quits, then unquits over farm bill dispute. French Environment Minister Monique Barbout, who handed in her resignation in protest after Parliament's approval of a farm bill allowing the temporary reintroduction of two pesticides suspected of harming bees, will remain in the government. Government spokesperson Maud Biragon has said on Wednesday, I told the Prime Minister yesterday the conditions for me to stay in the government will no longer be met, and I will present my resignation to the President today, Barbout wrote. But President Emmanuel Macron refused her resignation, and Barbout has since decided to stay in the government. The Farm Bill allows, via waiver, the use of acetamiprid a part of a neonicotinoid group of pesticides on hazelnuts and flupyridium on sugar beets and apples and cherries. Environmental campaigners and some unions representing small-scale farmers have said the bill benefits large-scale agro industry, ignores scientific warnings about the risk of pollinators and ecosystems and health, with Greenpeace denouncing the bill as a disgrace. The sugar industry has said the pesticides are needed to protect crops from aphids, which have ravaged the beet harvests in previous year. The waiver must still be approved by France Health and Safety of Agency, and it cannot exceed 3 years. The petition against the bill lasted year gathered more than 2 million signatures, a record for a petition on the Wednesday of National Assembly. And the story continues from The Guardian. Scandalous, irrational, irresponsible French beekeepers fury at the lifting of pesticides ban, allowing use of two neonicotinoids to combat crop ruining disease will kill bees and reduce harvests, union says. Beekeepers and environmentalists in France have reacted furiously after Parliament approved a bill reauthorizing two banned pesticides scientists say can poison bees. There are no words to describe the frustration, said Carol Boguet, a beekeeper in Greater Paris. Bee populations have already been badly compromised climate change, new parasites, and loss of habitat. Now this. Henry Clement, and a beekeeper in southern Loire's department and spokesperson of the French Beekeeping Association, the UNAF, said the measure was an absolute disaster for an exact sector and for biodiversity at whole. For bees, the risk was very high mortality rates and reduced harvests. It's just incomprehensible these pesticides have been reauthorized. We've been fighting them for 30 years, and it's scandalous, irrational, irresponsible. The law, passed on Tuesday, allows France Food and Environmental Safety Agency, ANUS, to grant waivers to authorize use of pesticides and antimicrobials and other things in struggling farm sectors and other exponential circumstances. The use of pesticides allowed in EU but banned in France will be authorized to combat aphid-borne diseases that can ruin crops of sugar beet, apples, hazelnuts, and cherries, which has led producers to claim they can no longer compete with European rivals. Scientific studies have established that the neonicotinoids with the powerful neurotoxin effects can poison bees, affecting their foraging capacity and memory. A 2024 study suggested that flupyridiforone could be lethal to some honeybees. Greenpeace France said country's centrist government and its right-wing allies in parliament were trampling on science, health, and environment and the clear will of the people, describing the legislation as deeply concerning and a disgrace. French Environment Minister Monique Barbout said the legislation was one environmental setback too many and submitted her registration on Wednesday, but later was persuaded to stay on after meeting President Emmanuel Macron. However, France's largest farmers' union, the FNSEA, welcomed the bill's approval as a major milestone and a victory for French farmers, while the Agricultural Minister, Annie Genvard, said brought real and tangible solutions to growers. According to Agricultural Minister figures, honey production in France halved between mid-90s when neonicotinoids were introduced and the mid-2010s, although habitat loss and climate breakdown were also contributing factors. Bouguet said France has been a model for other countries when it banned neonicotinoids. Scientific research showed that pesticides harmed not just insects but soil ecosystems and could have impact on human health, she noted. Bees are the canary in the environmental coal mine, she said. Their health is a huge indicator of what's happening in the natural world. Protecting means bees, protecting life. Protecting life means protecting our future. Christian Pons, the UNFA president, told reporters the law claims to defend French food sovereignty, but since when it is acceptable to destroy one sector, that of beekeepers, in order to save another? For example, that of the hazelnut trees. Yovo Dil Lanuni, a beekeeper from Western VD department, said after neonicotinoids were introduced in the 1990s, his honey production went from 80 kg per hive to 5 kg, and the colonies collapsed. In just few days, we went from 70,000 bees to 20,000. They were disoriented, unable to return to the hive. We found them dead everywhere. It was huge loss. The Senate backed the bill by 2014 votes to 111 on Tuesday after it received a lower house approval. The proposal to authorize the two pesticides were included in the bill in the late legislative process to help ensure it cleared the right-leaning upper house. The French Parliament last year passed the bill reauthorizing the neonicotinoids despite a petition against it that gathered more than 2 million signatures. The bill was annulled by the Constitutional Council, which said it did not abide by the French Environmental Charter. Barbout, who had previously headed the conservative charity WWF France, said after the vote that she sought to defend the silence of the forest and quality of our water and the purity of our air and the richness of our soil and the diversity of life. She said she was resigning because the forces opposing these goals have become so powerful that I no longer carry this ambition, though, but reversed her decision after Macron gave her guarantees on climate action goals. Genevard, the agricultural minister, said the health agency would only allow the pesticides used in certain areas for limited periods and when there was no impact on health or environment, on an emergency situation, and no alternative. The Beekeeping Union, the environmental groups, and left-leaning members of the parliament today will refer to a new law to the Constitutional Council on the grounds that it fails to provide adequate safeguard for human health and the environment. And there you have it, folks. France is planning to introduce reintroduce some neonicotinoids for 3 years. Let's see what happens. And that has been your bee story of the day. Now let's check on the bees and let's see what are they doing. Again, they've really favored this left side of this feeder tray, and now let's give them some more food. There we go. We got now. It seems like the bowl is pretty much full, and they're really selecting that other area, sucking it up. All right. So, folks, thank you for joining today's the Daily BAAS Buzz. I have been your host, Bedinga. Thank you so much for taking a look. Make sure to join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Check us out on our website and our Instagram. And have a fantastic, beautiful day. Thank you.